I mean, there were other cool projects, but it really took up all the space. Everyone was obsessed with the DAO. It had all the like rock stars in Ethereum involved, and it ended up being the largest crowdfunded project ever at the time, crypto or not crypto, raising $150 million in the spring of 2016. And that quickly became an existential fear for the entire Ethereum community because Solidity was 8 months old. Like Ethereum barely was around. We did get an audit on the DAO's smart contract, but we got an audit from the people who audited the Geth client, right? Like the people who audited clients, which is very different than smart contracts. They found bugs, rounding errors, like they didn't find a lot of the bugs that we found in practice from the DAO. And so the story of the hack, I was actually at the co-founder's mom's house in Mittweida, Germany. I woke up early as I did because the Slack never stops. So last thing I do before I go to bed is usually like check the messages, make sure the community is going well. First thing I do when I wake up is like get on the Slack and see how people see what's going on. And there were some really weird messages. People saying, hey, like, I think Etherscan is broken. The DAO is like, it's not showing the right balance and something is weird. It's decreasing. And so I looked into it and because I do have a pretty good background with this stuff, I instantly knew it was hacked and this is not right. And so started demon dialing everybody. Oh, I didn't even feel emotions at the time. It was just like action, action, action. Eventually was able to get Christoph awake and Lefteris and Simon and the whole crew, kind of getting them activated so that we could address the situation quickly. Christoph got into a call with Vitalik and he's like, hey, maybe we should hard fork it. That's probably the best solution here because it really was an existential threat. 14% of all Ether in existence were in these contracts. The hackers hacking contract ended up bugging out and stopping, as they all did, because there were a lot of bugs in the DAO contract. It wasn't just one. And so he ended up stealing 4% of all Ether in existence. And we all knew we were moving to proof of stake. And to have one bad actor with 4%, I mean, put that in perspective, Tom Lee has 4% of the network right now, right? Something like that. Like, that's how much Ether he had. And so it really was an existential situation for Ethereum. And it was so early that, there was some drama in between. We tried to soft fork. We had DAO wars. I started this group called the White Hat Group, which ended up also hacking the DAO and rescuing the other 10% of Ether, the total supply of Ether that was left in the DAO. And, lots of stories there. But the main thing is we got the hard fork out, rescued all of the Ether that was stolen by myself and by the hackers, and put it all into a contract so everyone could get it back. And then also the creation of Ether Classic kind of emerged. Like the way that the hack was resolved was that everyone had to decide, do I want to upgrade and run the new client or not? And basically everyone did, but a lot of Bitcoiners decided to run the old client. And I do say Bitcoiners because that was mostly the purpose, was kind of to affect the competition of Bitcoin and like create Ether Classic. And so Ether Classic became like a parallel dimension where the hack was never resolved with a hard fork. And so everyone that had Ether also had Ether Classic. So that DAO hack is this crazy thing that could only happen in crypto, where everyone got their Ether back. And then they also got ETC back because the DAO was on 10%. Most of the DAO was rescued by good guys, my team, the White Hat Group. And so we returned ETC, about 70% of the ETC that was in the DAO, back to DAO token holders. And everyone who had Ether ended up also getting ETC back. And so everyone was selling their ETC. The DAO hack is like this weird thing where everyone made money, even the hacker, because the hacker had ETC. Random people who weren't even involved that just had Ether ended up getting an airdrop of ETC. And in fact, the foundation for years, or at least 1 year, lived off just selling ETC, right? The Ethereum Foundation. So, I mean, the DAO hack story is just wild, and somehow it gets wilder in 2026.